Well, happy Tuesday. Tuesday late in the day for those across the pond, quite early for those of us on this side. Kind of dreary here today. Let's begin today with a little bit of warm up, and then we'll do some standing forms, and then we'll do the 8 brocades. So feet about shoulder width apart, body nice and loose. Soften the knees. Let's give those shoulders a shrug and then let them drop out. Relax the neck, upper back, shoulders, and then begin to turn the upper torso from side to side, just letting the arms swing freely. Can I get a thumbs up from somebody letting me know that you can all hear me? All right, good. I repositioned the mic today after Claire said I dropped out a couple of times yesterday, so thank you. And I have a set of AirPod Pro knockoffs that I'm going to test later today. So the eternal quest for the perfect microphone. Let's take the hands into loose fists and begin knocking on the lower belly and lower back, knocking on the door of life, waking up that energy center. So we'll do a few standing forms first. I ran across another teacher that I worked with from Canada who described the Zhwang forms as forming the structure. You can think of our flows as a river, but the river needs something to keep it bounded. That was an interesting, kind of different way to look at that than I have ever thought of before. From my background in fitness, I always thought of them more as isometric exercise. But those two blend well together. Let's take the front hand up the body into that crease beside the shoulder, knocking at the beginning of that lung point. The premier stress relief point, anxiety relief. And let's take it back down to the belly. Continuing to knock on the lower back. And let's begin to deepen out the breathing. Inhaling through the nose if you're able. And then exhaling out either the mouth or the nose. Put a little extra focus on that out breath. We'd like to make that just a touch longer than the in breath if we can. And let's let the hands float off the body. Begin to shift the weight from side to side. Back and forth from the inside and outside of the feet. Get us prepared for our standing forms. As we do the standing forms today, we're going to go a little longer. So if you need to come out of it, just give a little shake out and come back into the posture. And let's slow these down. Shrink them down. And as we return to Wuji, let's connect to the breath. Spinal cord breathing. Breathing in, spread the elbows apart, squeeze the shoulder blades together, and then pull it all back in and gently fold. Breathing in as we rise and expand. Breathing out as we relax and release. I was intrigued by the course discussion around footwear, and I'm so happy we've warmed up a little bit outside because my studio is now a balmy 63 degrees Fahrenheit. So I can practice now without needing to bundle up and practice barefoot again. Let's put a little turn at the top. Gentle turn of the upper spine, coming back to center as we exhale. And let's take one last one here on the other side. And then rising, hand over the lower dantian. And just close your eyes. Let's settle in. Get adjusted and balanced, feet about shoulder width apart. And prepare for the standing forms. I'm going to go about 20 breaths for each one. And just come out of the form and shake out if you need to. Let's release the hands, open the eyes, and with the palms facing up, lift, turn the hands over at the shoulders, press out in front of you and hold. Looking past your fingertips if it's comfortable, otherwise you can look straight ahead or even close your eyes. We'll return to this form as we begin the brocades later. With two hands, hold up the heavens. If you feel any pain in your shoulders, you can bring your hands lower. Or if you're not feeling like you're getting enough tension in the shoulders, enough stretch here, you can bring your hands up even further. And a few more breaths here. And if you got your eyes closed, let them drift back open. And on your next exhale, go ahead and release the hands down to the sides. Hands float back up, palms facing up to about shoulder height. Feet still about shoulder width apart. We'll do two from the Wuji stance and two from horse stance. Again, if your shoulders begin to tire, you can drop the arms down for a moment, shake them out, bring them back up. Just a few more breaths here. And let your eyes drift back open if you've closed them. And on your next exhale, tip the palms to the floor and let the arms melt down. Before moving on, we'll toe heel out to a horse stance. As wide a stance as is comfortable, turn your toes toward the front if you can. If there's any pain in your knees, turn your feet out just a little bit. And then let's widen out the knees so that the knees are tracking over the toes. Arms float up on the sides and come in to embrace the tree. And then tuck your tailbone and sink down just a touch. Arms stay rounded, fingertips pointing toward one another, palms facing inward toward your chest. This is one of the classic poses in both the Zhang and the Qigong tradition. Standing like a post, or in my parlance, embracing the tree or hugging the tree. A few more breaths. And then we'll release the hands, but we'll stay in horse stance. On your next exhale, just turn the palms to the floor and let them float down. And then inhale them back up to the sides, push the palms out, the iron cross. Just a few more breaths, and then we'll come back into the lower dantian. On your next exhale, let the hands drift down. Nice and slow, just melting down, hand over the lower dantian. And then let's toe heel back in to about shoulder width, hips width, into our Wuji position. A couple of breaths here, and then move on to the Brocades. On an exhale, release the hands to the sides. And then inhaling, fingertips come together, hands lift, turn at the top, breathe out, press overhead. Breathe in, come up on the balls of your feet as the arms begin to separate. And then breathe out to release the rest of the way down. Two hands hold up the heavens, lifting as we inhale. Turn the hands over, press them high as we exhale. Come up on the balls of your feet, inhaling, and then exhaling down. 4 parts to the breath. We'll do a few more of these. Think of that inhale at the top there as helping you lift up onto the balls of your feet. Last one. Arms float back up on sides to shoot the bow. Draw one hand into the chest. That's going to be our string pull. Make an aiming point with the other one. Take an inhale. And on the exhale, dip down, just lower your bow hand across. Hands change places. Exhale, draw the bow. Inhale through the transition. Breathing out as we draw the bow. Take one more on each side. Last one. Release out by unfolding the string hand and letting both hands float back to Wuji. Hands float up in front like you're holding a ball. Let's spin that ball. Both palms are going to turn over and split from one another as we, again, come up on the balls of the feet, separating earth and sky. Lower the heels, spiral the arms, recapture the ball. Both palms press apart, separating earth and sky. Come up on the balls of your feet if you can, and look skyward. Take the breath. Inhaling as we Spiral and recapture the ball. Exhaling as we spread the palms apart, separating earth and sky. Do a couple more. And let's recapture the ball one last time. Spin it, flatten the palms, and just let them float on down. The wise owl looks behind. Hands float forward, backs of hands meet, and then on the exhale, let the hands pass the body as you look over a shoulder. Inhale the hands forward. Exhale as the hands float back past the body and look out over the other shoulder. On the in-breath, hands float forward, backs of hands meet. On the exhale, hands float back like your wings and look over the shoulder. The wise owl looks behind. Let's take one more each direction. And then just let the hands come forward and release. Next up, we need to widen out the stance. So come back out to your horse stance. Slide your hands down your thighs, putting the weight into your arms as they press down just above the knee. Take an inhale. And then on the exhale, swing your head out to one side and all the way across. Inhaling yourself back to vertical. Exhale, going the other way. If you're more comfortable with the breathing pattern of this movement from the 12 rivers, feel free to use that. One more time, over and back. This is swinging the head and shaking the tail. Go ahead and bring yourself back up. The arms float up in front, forming loose fists, drawing those back into the ribs. Get yourself balanced and settled here. A nice strong stance. Take an inhale, and on the exhale, punch one hand forward. Inhale, that one back. Exhale, punch one forward. I'm not sure you can see this clearly, but my palm is facing up when I draw in, and then I spiral the hand so palm faces down as I punch. And this is a regular punch with the thumb out. This is punching with the intent gaze. This one also normally has a bit of an audible component to it. On that strong exhale forward, an audible ha. Inhaling the fists back in. One more on each side. And then draw the hands back in. Release the fists and let your hands float around back to your kidney area. Come in with your stance just a little bit. Not quite to hips width, but not horse stance either. As you inhale, trace down the outside of your legs, over the feet, back up, still tracing the outside of the leg, back to the kidneys. Inhaling it down. Exhaling it back up. This one is 2 hands, hold the feet to strengthen the kidneys and waist. And in some translations, there's a bit about curing the 100 diseases. One more time. And then toe heel back in to about shoulder width. Release the hands. Arms float up on the side as we raise our heels. And then with a little bit of force, drop down on your heels and let your body just vibrate as we shake the tree. Breathing in as we rise. A quicker breath out. We sometimes do a gentler version of this. This one's from the Wudang mountain tradition. One more time, coming up, lifting the heels, shaking the tree. And then let's come up, keeping the heels down, come into our closing, rise overhead, turn the palms to the floor, press the palms, regulating the chi. So we slow everything back down. One more time. As the hands reach the bottom, toss one away. Let your eyes follow it. All the way overhead, and then tracing down the midline of the body. Breathing in, toss the other hand away. Breathing out, coming down the midline. One more time on each side. Last one. This time as the hand floats down, let it come to rest on the heart center. The other one on your lower dantian. Maybe bring your feet in just a little bit. Close your eyes. And we'll bring everything back into stillness. Just breathing it to the finish. After a couple of breaths, you can let that top hand slide down and join the other one, either over or under. One more big inhale. And as you exhale that breath, go ahead and release the hands. Let the eyes come back open. Give everything a little shake out at the bottom. Thanks for joining me today for our Zhan plus the 8 brocades. Namaste.